Hi you guys, my name is Cheryl and I'm a photographer, web designer, and I write a food blog called 40 Aprons. So if that's how you found me, this will not be about food at all. My husband and I have some pretty exciting news, and we're expecting our very first baby at the end of September. September 22nd is our due date, but you know, I've heard that babies don't like abide by those, so we're kind of being flexible about it. We are beyond thrilled, and we just kind of want to capture just like everything about this pregnancy. So I've been spending a few weeks watching like tons of pregnancy vlogs on YouTube, and I decided that I should start one of my own. So probably like a lot of you, my husband and I kind of thought, as soon as we decided that we were gonna start trying and like looked at each other the right way, I would get pregnant. You know, like I went to Catholic school and it was always like, you can get pregnant from a toilet seat. So I don't know what they were expecting from that, but we just thought it would happen immediately. And it took us a few months. We weren't obviously expecting that at all. It turned out that I had some, like right before we started trying, I went to the doctor for like a preconception checkup, and she actually said that my thyroid levels were borderline, but they looked okay, but they could go either way. So I went in for an ultrasound of my thyroid, which was really uncomfortable and strange, but everything looked fine. So, you know, she didn't put me on any medication or anything like that. And then, you know, we were trying for a little while, and I noticed when I was charting my temperature that my temperature was pretty low. So I kept that in mind, and I also noticed that like I started having all these pregnancy symptoms, which was so cruel. Like I was tired and I didn't really have an appetite, like I had all these food aversions, and I started putting, you know, all of these symptoms together, and I started thinking that I might have like a sluggish thyroid. So I went and I told my doctor about this, and she was super cool about it, really understanding. She told me, you know, the baseline levels for the normal thyroid function is based off like the average woman, and I might have my own average, which is why I might be experiencing certain symptoms. And another symptom was that I had put on like 10 pounds in 6 months, which to me, I've always pretty much been the same weight. You know, I've always been lucky to just kind of like stay a certain weight, and for me to put on weight was really unusual. And so, you know, along with all the other symptoms, she did some blood work and it all came back normal. And this was like a few days before Christmas, I guess. I got the results back, and I mean, this sounds wrong, but I think if you've ever been trying to conceive, you'll understand. Like, I was upset that my levels were normal, and you know, what does this mean? Like, why do I have all these symptoms? Like, what's going on? So I was kind of upset about that, but a few days after, actually like the day after Christmas, my husband and I went on vacation in Mexico. It was kind of funny because we had been planning when to start trying based off of this vacation. You know, I didn't want to be so pregnant that I couldn't like fly comfortably. So the fact that we, you know, were still trying at that point was kind of not funny at the time. But anyway, so I actually emailed my doctor when I was in Mexico, and I told her, you know, like my levels look okay, but I still have these symptoms. Like, do you think that we should just try anything? And she actually got back to me and had filled a prescription when I was in Mexico, but I obviously couldn't, you know, go to Walgreens and pick it up. But I was super, super excited. I also happened to be ovulating at the time, so a couple months before, you know, it was like right after Christmas, a couple months before, I had said, I just want to get pregnant in 2014. And this was like in October. So I was like, you know, like around now would be great. So I actually ovulated on New Year's Eve, and we got back a few days later, and I filled my prescription like immediately, like the night we got home. My mom picked us up from the airport, and I was like, go to Walgreens, Mom, like this is important. So we did, and I started taking like the super low dose thyroid like replacement therapy or whatever. And a few days later, my temperature dropped and I was pretty, upset. I mean, but it's at this point, after like a few months of seeing negative tests, you're kind of just like not necessarily expecting to get pregnant that month. So I saw my temperature drop, and I had been on the thyroid medication for like a few days at this point. I was also doing progesterone cream. I didn't have a whole lot of symptoms of that, except for my luteal phase was like 11 days and my temperature was kind of low. So I was on that too, just like over the counter. I ordered it from Amazon. So those were like the two different things that month. So anyway, my temperature dropped, and I decided to take like a little cheapy test just to kind of like prepare myself for the next cycle. And lo and behold, this is what we saw. So people always ask me, how did I tell my husband? I'm kind of like planner, and we tend to celebrate everything in my family. But I was so surprised and just in total shock that I started just running through the house screaming. And I forced my husband, well, I didn't force him, I asked my husband to look at the test. And he even saw the line, so I used some probably expletives in exclaiming that I was pregnant, and we like hugged and we were so happy. And then he went off on a run, and I just obsessed for like the next, 2 weeks probably. So at this point, I am today 17 weeks pregnant. We are, it looks like everything is going really well. The heartbeat is great. It's super strong. The last time we went to the doctor, which was a few days ago, she did the heartbeat, the nurse did the heartbeat, and it sounded like a train passing at a close distance. I mean, the baby's like sounded like it was trying to escape, but luckily I think we decided that he would, or she would, cook for a few more months. So we don't know the sex of the baby yet. We are using a doula, and she asked us to minimize the number of ultrasounds that we got. So we didn't, want to go to like a boutique ultrasound clinic or whatever to find out early. So our ultrasound, our anatomy scan, is a little less than 3 weeks. We're really excited to see the baby, but we decided to find out the results of the ultrasound at a gender reveal party, which, thanks to May being like a super busy month full of like, we're going to 3 weddings, and like we're going on our baby moon that month. So we have to wait another 3 weeks to find out if it's a boy or a girl. We're gonna give my friend the outcome or the sex of the baby in an envelope, and she will hold on to that for 3 weeks and hopefully ward off all my desperate, attempts at getting her to tell me if it's a boy or a girl. For a while I was super obsessed with finding out early if it was a boy or a girl. I felt like it would help me bond with the baby because, I couldn't hear the heartbeat all the time, and I was kind of worried, and I just wanted to like envision the baby as like a little Omar or a little me. But at this point, I feel like we've waited so long, my sort of idea of the baby has become this just like unisex like Gerber baby, and I honestly don't care that much anymore. We could probably wait until the day that I give birth to find out, but I also kind of want to have like a exciting party with all of our like closest family and friends. So we're really excited about both the scan and the party. So we're going on a baby moon. We're doing a cruise in a couple weeks. I'm super excited about that. We tend to kind of overdo our vacations. We both love to travel. That was one of the things that when we very first met that really drew us together, was how much we love to travel. And like obviously the baby was conceived in not America. So I hope that if you're watching this, you are either pregnant or are trying to conceive, so that I don't gross you out with all this information. But we decided just to do a cruise because I wanted to keep it super simple. I wanted to just like walk around the ship and like eat a ton and just, be really relaxed. And we find that when we go to, like when we go to Mexico on our own, we tend to overdo, you know, we spend tons and tons of hours laying on the beach, and then we walk around and do all these, you know, little, like, we explore and tend to like fill our days basically. So the cruise is kind of forcing us to take it easy. So far I haven't had a whole lot of symptoms. It's actually been pretty easy for me. The first trimester I was definitely tired and I had no appetite at all. And if I ate like a normal portion of food, I thought I was gonna be sick. I luckily never was, but it was painful, like how bloated and just like nauseated I would get. But I mean, other than that, you know, I didn't cook for a while, which is really weird for me, being a food blogger and a food photographer. So I hated you know, like not wanting to cook and not really wanting to eat, but that's gradually going away. And we're cooking more and eating a little bit healthier, because there for a while it was like I would just eat whatever sounded good, because there was very few things that sounded like remotely appetizing. But so far my bump is pretty small. I'll show you the bump pictures from this week. So still pretty small. You know, a lot of my friends say that one day I'll just wake up and have this like massive bump, and I think that they're right about that. So you know, I'm looking forward to that, but I'm happy to still be, you know, like fairly small, and especially like grows by dinner time I look 7 months pregnant probably. So still happy, I guess, where we are. So anyway, I just wanted to introduce myself and welcome you guys to this journey that we're on. We are just, I mean, I know I've said it like 20 times at this point, but we are so excited. I really love being pregnant, and I'm really looking forward to like making that transition into being a mom, and you know, being a mom who runs her own business and works, and kind of seeing how that will pan out. And yeah, just happy that you're here and happy that I'm here. So see you next week.